I'm Elizabeth, a literary princess. If you are new here, welcome. I have a PhD in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists, and as you might expect, I love to read. Today I have my March TBR, and we have the return of TBR Tarot. So what is TBR Tarot? I pick 5 cards from my literary tarot deck, the Classics edition specifically, and I pick books that are based on the card, whether that is actually picking the book that the card is based on or picking something that is thematically appropriate for what it says the card stands for in my little guidebook here. There is the major arcana and then 4 suits. They are book themed because it is, again, the literary tarot. So we have quills, parchment, ink, and light. So in addition to TBR Tarot, I also am participating in March of the Mammoths and the Neglected Victorian Bestsellers read along. March of the Mammoths is hosted by Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse. The Neglected Victorian Bestsellers read along is hosted by Roy from Roy Reads Anything. So I am going to try to fit those on where I can, along with some other books that I specifically wanted to read this month. But if they don't work for the tarot, then I will just tack them on at the end. Let's jump in. So the first card that I drew was the King of Light, which features the Odyssey by Homer. And it is upright, so the kind of meaning here is wise, diplomatic, balance between head and heart. So I was like, well, I could read the Odyssey because I do have that and I would like to read that, but also I have a lot of other things. So I decided to use this for the first of my 2 mammoths. And this is a mammoth that I am actually currently reading already, and I'm just going to be continuing for the basically foreseeable future. And that is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. So the reason that I picked it for this one is specifically because of where I am in the book, which is at the very beginning. But we have the bishop, and he really kind of is like the epitome of someone who is like wise and diplomatic and has a balance between head and heart. And I just felt that worked really well for him. I do also think it works well for Jean Valjean later in the book. I just haven't met him yet because I am on chapter 10 of volume 1. There's 5 volumes of these. It's ginormous. I'm moving through it very slowly. I am reading it in French, which is my second language. So, you know, it's not exactly the easiest. But I felt like that worked really well for that card. Card number 2 was the High Priestess featuring King Lear by William Shakespeare. It is upright, so it stands for unconscious, intuition, mystery, spirituality, and higher power. And for this, I decided to go with the Neglected Victorian Bestsellers read. This is A Romance of Two Worlds by Marie Corelli. I don't really know what it's about per se, but I've heard that it's very weird and spiritual and out there. So that seemed like it worked for that card with the mystery, the spirituality, and the unconscious and the intuition. I was like, yeah, okay, that fits. I've read one book by Corelli, Thelma, a few years back now, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to reading more from her. number 3 was the Hierophant? Hierophant? I don't really know how to pronounce that, to be honest. Anyway, it's featuring 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. It is upright, so it stands for tradition, conventionality, conformity, knowledge, and beliefs. And I feel like I'm actually kind of cheating with this one because the book that I picked might really fit more with the inverted meaning, which is rebellion, new methods, unconventionality, and ignorance. Maybe not the ignorance part. But this is an arc that I have. 7 sisters, captives and rebels in revolutionary Europe's first family by Veronica Buckley. This is coming out toward the end of the month. It is a work of nonfiction. Following all of these daughters of the Habsburg dynasty, who went and married into other royal families in Europe. And obviously based on the kind of the rebels and revolutionary thing, you can tell some of them were breaking the rules. But I felt like this idea of like royalty marrying into royalty very much fits with tradition. And also the description here talks about rules. In his exile, Captain Nemo exists between worlds, and you, through his methods, may join him. Follow the laws and rules you find arrayed before you, and plunge deeper into the new world. And I feel like royal courts always have like these rules. You need to be following the rules. Now, obviously, some of them are going to be breaking them, and that'll be fun. But, I don't know, maybe a little bit of cheating there, but I made it work. Card number 4 was The Six of Quills, featuring The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. And it is inverted, so it's standing for being stuck in the past, running away from problems, trapped, obsessing. And for this, I went with a book that I want to reread so that I can then read the sequel. And that is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. So we are following Effie, who is in college for architecture, but what she really loves is literature. But something kind of awful has happened to her, and she is feeling very trapped by that. And it weighs on her. And there was just this really good quote that I remember being in here. I remember it because I wrote it out on Tumblr, and I will pull it up in a minute. But that I felt like kind of like really got to that idea of like the trapped, obsessing, all of that. Effie was no great designer, but she was an excellent escape artist. She was always chipping away at the architecture of her life until there was a crack big enough to slip through. Whenever she was faced with danger, her mind manifested a secret doorway, a hole in the floorboards, somewhere she could hide or run to. So like this idea of running away from your problems and hiding from them, but also then being trapped by that. So I felt like this worked really well. I adored this book when I first read it, so I am really looking forward to rereading it. And the final card was The Eight of Quills, featuring The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It is upright, standing for victimization, helplessness, imprisonment, and feeling paralyzed. And for this, I went with my other mammoth for the month, Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. So I'm going with the imprisonment aspect very literally, because this is about Amy Dorrit, whose father is in debtor's prison. So then the whole family is in debtor's prison because of how stuff worked in the Victorian age. And the back says that the dark shadow of the prison stretches far beyond its walls to affect the lives of many. A masterly evocation of the state and psychology of imprisonment. I was like, perfect. So I read Our Mutual Friend for March of the Mammoths last year, and I really enjoyed that. So I decided, I think I'm going to try to read a Dickens every March now, and that'll be a good way to work through some of my Dickens TBR. So Little Dorrit comes in with the notes and everything at, oh my goodness, 985 pages. So very long. If you don't know, a mammoth is over 800 pages, and March of the Mammoths is just, the idea is to like start one of those books that, you know, we kind of put off usually because they're so long and, oh, that's going to take so much time, etc., etc. But the idea is to start one of them in March. I would really like to also finish this one in March because I'm definitely not finishing Les Mis in March, but we will see what happens. That is everything for the tarot. However, there are 2 books remaining that I want to get on my March TBR. The first being the one for my Elizabeth Gaskell project, Ruth. This is also a reread for me. It's a fallen woman story following a young woman named Ruth, and I read it. When did I read it? Might have been 2022. Does that sound right? I don't know if that sounds right. No. No, it wouldn't have been 2022. It would have been way before that. 2021? Yeah, 2021. Okay. But I had to read it very quickly. It was for an independent study, and I'm really looking forward to taking more time with it now, because I remember it better than I remembered Mary Barton. Mary Barton, there was just nothing there. There is things there in Ruth. However, it's very vague. Me and Marissa at Blatantly Bookish have been talking about buddy reading this, so that will be very fun for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then the final book is another ARC that I actually won in a Goodreads giveaway last year, but it is not coming out until the end of March. And that is A Suit or a Suitcase by Maggie Smith. Not that Maggie Smith. This is a poetry collection, and I don't know, I'm really looking forward to it. I am not particularly familiar with Smith as a poet, although I did encounter somebody quoting one of her poems on Tumblr, and I was like, oh, I have a collection by her. So I'm really looking forward to reading her and enjoying some poetry. This is one of my 50 books to read in 2026, counting for one of my 3 poetry books that I have a goal of. So yeah, I'm excited to get to it. So that is my March TBR. Let me know down in the comments. Have you read any of these? What did you think? Are you participating in March of the Mammoths, and what are you reading for it? Are you going to be joining in on the read-along for A Romance of Two Worlds? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.